Hi, my name is Wendy Creed. I'm GTRN Manager, and this is a video on how to complete your SME application. You can get to GTRN through wvcentral.org. You can also bypass WV Central and go directly to GTRN if you're an external or World Vision employee through gtrn.wvcentral.org. On WV Central, there's a few ways to access GTRN under the Tools and also under WV Applications by clicking GTRN. Now this will take you to our information site on WV Central, and this is where we have short videos from stakeholders around the partnership about what is GTRN, what are the benefits, GTRN in 3 words, etc. We also have access to our contacts, the office leads around the partnership. We have a calendar of events where we have clinics. We have one-page documents and announcements where we attach our communications. And we have a page for each stakeholder. We have a page for becoming an SME, and then we have the button to go to GTRN. The first time you go to GTRN, you're going to have to create an account, because the GTRN username is your email address. That allows us to communicate the workflow of activity from GTRN. So you're required to register for an account. Here you can provide your email address, whether you're a World Vision employee or an external. And the only difference there is that you'll be required to provide a referrer from World Vision if you're external, as opposed to your manager. The World Vision referrer is sent an email when you request as an external SME an account on GTRN to approve that access to GTRN. You provide the report to office and look for those check marks, or those question marks. They'll give you tips along the way. And if you work for, say, Global Center, and your approving manager's name and email address. Then you're automatically sent a password for GTRN. And on the right side, you'll notice throughout GTRN that we have drop downs with help and tips, and sometimes download checklists that you can print off and use to help guide you through your first time, or through becoming an SME for emergency response or integrated programming, or getting an SME. We also have a translate feature throughout GTRN. When you get into GTRN, you're on the login page, or the home page, and you'll see it's all about becoming an SME or getting an SME. There's pending activities where you can watch for any actions that are required of you on your own home page. You'll see at the side, will I qualify to be as an SME, becoming an SME for emergency response and IP, and getting an SME. There's also a menu across the top where you can update your profile or your availability. You can do searches across the top or down the side. Under Will I Qualify as an SME, you'll see View Emergency Response and IP Sector Standards. You might want to look at those before you are ready to submit your application for the area of expertise that you're looking at. Let's just go ahead and update your profile. In your profile, you'll see information that you provided during your registration: your name, your email address, the offices you work for, any endorsements that have been applied to your profile from other users, accreditations, your education, your area of expertise. A resume is required by all SMEs applying. Your field experience. Some of these orange boxes are applied to the emergency response only. You can add any supporting documents. And all of the information in your profile is used within any application you might have. We have languages and references. And at this point you can save and create an application right away, or you can just save and finish right there and come back. We're going to apply separately by clicking on Apply to be an SME. Now here you will see the various sectors and services that we have on GTRN, and you can select any one or multiples number of those and move to step 2 and put your application in. But if you want to look for something in our number of sectors and services, you might want to do a search. And here I've used an example of COH, or Channels of Hope. And I'll select all of the Channels of Hope, and that reduces the list below, and I can select from a reduced list. Here I'm going to apply to gender and child well-being rights. And then I'll be presented by the subsectors within those areas of expertise. And if there was an application in those areas in emergency, I could click on those as well. But here, these are just available in integrated programming or non-emergency. Once you've selected the areas that you want to apply to, you move to step 3. On your first application, you'll be presented with the core competencies of integrated programming in this case. If your application is for emergency response, you'll also be presented with core competencies which need input for the soft skills required in an emergency. Once you've done that, you're presented with the applications that you selected on that second screen. And here I've got gender, Channels of Hope for gender, and child youth development. So I have 3 applications. Here I can look at the qualifications for the different types of SMEs, the practitioner, the trainer, and the manager. In this case, there are no skills or requirements expected for manager, or perhaps they're not validating in that type. It's required that you complete at least one competency field, providing evidence of your competency in that area. You can select whether you would reference yourself as a practitioner or a trainer, and the validator can confirm the type that you'll be validated for. You can add your evidence in text or by browsing and attaching a document. And although you have to include at least one competency content, you can fill in, and it's recommended that you fill in as many as possible. Once you've completed, you can submit and review for validation. You can place your application on hold and go back later. You can withdraw it, or you can save it and submit it later. And then you can move on to one of your other applications that you've chosen. Again, you've got the approaches and methods, any other specific information, and competencies for this particular area. And if you submit without completing at least one competency, you'll be notified. You can save and come back to these anytime by doing the Save Current Application and go back to the home page. Each sector or service has different competencies. That's why there's different applications. Once you finish that, you'll have a new box on your right-hand side listing My SME Status, and you'll see the applications and the status they're at, whether it's incomplete or it's pending manager approval or if it's on hold in the case that I showed you. And you can look at the steps of becoming an SME that are listed here, and you have access to the assessment. At any time you can fill in the assessment. This is required for integrated programming only and not emergency response. And emergency response and integrated programming applicants can update their availability annually and their daily rate anytime. And here's where you can update your availability. Again, orange box for emergency response and green background for integrated programming. You'll notice emergency response is limited to available or not, and you can put comments of when you are available. Perhaps there's sometimes you're not available. In integrated programming, the availability is by quarter. And notice the daily charge rate tip along the side. GTRN has many reports and lookups across the top and along the side. And don't forget to look at your pending activities as well as your SME status, any requests you would have been invited to or requests you would have created on My Deployments, and request help anytime. GTRN will be sending out reminders. Please respond to the links provided in those emails to update any applications outstanding, and I hope this video was helpful to you in completing your SME application.